Hi, I'm Dr. Drew, and this is Dr. Drew After Dark. Please be advised that Dr. Drew After Dark may contain sexually oriented content and be unsuitable for young children. Hey, everybody, welcome to Dr. After Dark. The great Christina P is here with us. It's time for my meditative sojourn, my meditative break of the day for the week. And I'm looking at just some of the titles here. Vaping cum, shitting out balls. Okay, let's go, everybody. Time for After Dark.
Let me tell you, shitting out balls has been one of those videos that has changed my life.
Yours or your husband's?
No, I mean me. Listen, a lot of people don't give me credit.
You found it?
I didn't find it. I endorsed it, and I was awed, and I love this stuff more than Tom sometimes. And I don't get the credit I deserve for being a sick fuck. I'm here to say, me too. I like it.
So let me be the first to acknowledge you for being a sick fuck.
Thank you.
Welcome to this.
Thank you.
You are a sick fuck.
People think because I look like a nice blonde lady that I'm not a deviant inside.
No.
You see me. You validate me.
I did. Vampires, Eastern European darkness.
Let me tell you, Dr. Drew's recommended 2 shows for me. Hits. Nobody ever recommends things I like. They always say, go watch this comedy. I say, fuck you. I don't want to see anything.
I hit stuff in the bullseye for you.
You got it. Nailed it.
I said, Christina's a sick fuck. I know exactly what she would like.
Killing Eve, which is about, for those of you who don't know, a psychopathic killer.
After you described yourself as a psychopath, I thought you might enjoy that exploration. Yes.
I thoroughly am hooked. I'm saving episodes. I'm like morsels.
It's beyond. How about that actress, though?
Both of them amazing.
Amazing.
Gorgeous.
But the one that plays the psychopath, for most of that first season, I was thinking to myself, I'm actually worried about this woman.
You're like, Christina.
She's a little too good. And then I started worrying about you, and then the next one, I know your whole goth heritage.
Yeah.
And so What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do in the Shadows, the TV series. And I watched about 5 episodes. I hid from my children and my family, and I watched them. I loved it. I freaking love the Eastern blockiness, the coldness, and the it's so good. That's my family. That is my family. Yeah, nobody understands how my family
you
are
want to know
vampires.
Christina, what a sick fuck she is and what her family's like, watch that show. You'll know exactly where she grew up.
It's 100% true. This is like my parents. People think it's a joke. It's not.
That's what's so amazing about the series, right? There's a people part of it. They're not just vampires. There's oh my God, I know people like that.
Yeah, they have one special vampire that lives in the home. I'll just tell you this one. That's so brilliant. An emotional vampire.
Yes.
And you know these people that work in offices with you that just you're exhausted after dealing with them.
Yes, and anybody that does psychotherapy with people knows you have to be careful with those kinds of folks because you'll feel yourself go down with them, and you'll go to sleep if you're not careful. Like when people complain that the therapist fell asleep during sessions, that happens from emotional vampires. Yeah, so to speak. I mean, it's a weird thing, and no one's actually been able to figure out exactly what it is.
Yeah, what is that? Because
you literally, it's because we're here tuning with bodies, right?
Yeah.
And somebody whose bodies is going down in energy so badly. I'm glad you like the humor.
Well, my mother was an emotional vampire.
Oh, well, now she was more.
She was a borderline.
It's different.
But that's different.
They're sucking you in. Well, they actually project in. They actually put themselves in you and then spin it around and then go, see, you're an asshole. See the horrible feelings you have, they're their feelings.
Yes, but it is exhausting. So do therapists just go home?
It's different kind of exhausting. That's different kind of exhausting. That's like doing battle exhausting.
Oh, yes.
As the emotional vampire exhausting is like hypnotic. It's like you're falling into hypnotic. So
that's so terrible. Because I once dated an emotional vampire like that, the boring guy that just puts you in like a and you're like, I can't, and I can talk to almost anybody.
Yeah,
this guy I couldn't connect.
Why were you with him?
No, just one date. He was a writer on a funny show.
Intriguing.
And I thought, this is perfect. And oh my God, the most boring comedy writer I ever met.
Speaking of comedy is under assault right now.
Honey,
it's hard to be a comedian.
The whole world is under assault.
Yes, honey.
Sorry. I just love you. I love you. You're a very virile man. We learned from Susan.
We're gonna find out more about that.
Oh my God! For those of you who don't know, I interviewed Susan, Drew's wife, on Where My Mom's At.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out.
Yeah. So after you finish with her, I thought to myself, Any thoughts I had about running for office or to try to help out in this government of ours? Gone. You fucked that completely up. Just gone.
Yeah.
Not even a possibility now.
People would be shocked.
Well, the great thing would be nothing could be, there's nothing to find out. You know what I mean? There's no scandals waiting to be uncovered. There it is.
And hey, let me tell you.
All on where my mom's at.
Well, let me tell you.
Every inch.
You guys have been together for 28 years. Is that right?
We've been married for 28 years. And we've been together 36 years.
36 years. Yeah. And God bless you two for being into each other to that extent.
How lucky is that? It's crazy.
It's beautiful.
And there's a medical layer in there too, is that the hormones, I'm sure she talked about, saved our relationship too.
I love this.
And so it wasn't our relationship that was sputtering, it was her biology. And then back.
You guys have to listen to Where My Mom's At with Susan Pinsky. You're going to love it. She's a lovely woman. And I see why you guys work together so well.
You said that. You texted me or something.
I love her. I adore her.
What is that? Because it's mysterious to both of us.
I'll tell you. Yeah, is it?
A little bit, because we feel lucky. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think because you're so attracted to one another, there's something.
We are, but we are so different.
Yes,
right?
yes.
But that's what's part of the attraction, the fun, and the challenge.
Yes.
But we also share a heritage. We sort of both grew up in Orange County and stuff. We enjoy. You know what it ends up being? We enjoy the same things the same way.
That's everything.
And almost everything.
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing we go, oh, I like this and I hate that. I mean, occasion, I guess, but mostly it's like not only do we like it the same.
I like that.
Which is kind of interesting.
That's very rare. And
I guess so.
I like that.
And it's funny. I remember thinking that when we first got together, that there was something about that. It was kind of working. Yeah,
it's huge. Yeah. I liken it to if you can sit in a cafe with that person and you can talk for hours and hours, there's that. And then number two, if you and I are walking down the street and I go, holy shit, you see that? And you go, oh my God, what is that guy wearing?
No, exactly. No,
you share it.
You don't even have to say that. You know exactly what. You just go, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And that's a good match.
That's a good match. Yeah, that kind of intuitive connection.
But
so back to the cafe, though. Hold on. Back to the cafe. Yes. And I'm sure you have some follow-on questions for me as regards to Mrs. Pinsky. So I'm preparing
well, we're going to
save
it. We're going to save it.
For what? Save it for what?
For your mom's house.
Oh, shit. You're going to fucking gang up on me.
What? Why would you say that?
I wonder why the dog called me. I was like, can you get him calm down? We need you on your mom's house. We need your mom's house. Need you on your mom's house. I'm like, I love. They want me on your mom's house. How fantastic. It's been a while since I've been there. They must have some great videos for me.
We do.
Oh, it's of my wife, though, unfortunately. Oh, my God. Oh,
no.
My God.
What makes you, how do you know
What makes me? You just said it.
But how do you know this won't be a celebratory event?
Because your husband will be there. And I know better than that. I know what makes Tom happy.
Okay.
And it's not celebrations.
Suffering.
It's suffering. Yeah, it's suffering. He makes him very happy. Dead people make him happy. So I have to approach that. And his joy of dead people make you happy.
Yeah.
So between the two of you, I see where we're going.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all very natural.
Oh my God,
you're a healthy male.
I'm going to be so anxious coming in there.
It's all positive.
Yeah.
Positive.
Yeah.
I love the interview with Susan, and I was like, this Dr. Drew, what a dynamo. What a dynamo. In every sense.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, you have to listen to all of those. You have to listen to and Susan was so proud too, because she was like, Nadav was dying from the control room. He was laughing so hard. I've never heard him laugh so hard. And I thought, oh, shit. Oh, I know what that means.
It was a great show. Just go over to Christina P's YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see the interview with Dr. Drew for Where My Mom's At. Or, with Susan
Pinsky.
And then you'll see me on your mom's house.
And she, listen, I must say, she wore a beautiful dress, and she had her big naturals out.
Yeah, it's all her. She's
crazy.
All that. Yeah.
I mean, she's built. You guys are both like.
She's ridiculous.
Specimens.
She's a specimen.
No,
I'm
both of you.
I was like built for. I was built for strength and intensity and short term.
Sure.
Like dead by 35 on the Russian fucking tundra. You know what I mean? Like in the meantime, chopping wood and killing bison.
Sure.
And then that's it. So it all falls apart after 35.
Gotcha.
So she was designed for some eternity, like live to like the babushkas living
She's
in
a
the
vampire.
vampire.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm glad you guys are together.
Yes,
comedy,
we're great. We're
the comedy
good.
world is fakakta right now.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Listen, I feel like 2020, I've had my whole life. There's been the pandemic. There's been racial riots. And then Me Too. And then somebody very, in our circle. It's like a coworker. And you find out this crazy stuff about them. And it's so jarring and so painful and just crazy. And we're still reeling from it. We don't know how to deal with it. And I don't know. There's so many layers to it, man. Ugh.
Well, so can we talk about the comedy venues that are struggling?
I don't know if that's public knowledge yet.
So that when you said that to me today, that worried me greatly, because that means that not only is comedy under attack and you can't say anything, but the environment in which you could speak are starting to collapse.
It's scary.
That bothers me.
Yeah, it's scary.
Because we need comedy to be offensive.
I know.
That's what comedy is.
I
and
know.
we live in a world where, and I started to think about this, being offended is not even what people are talking about. They're talking about their feelings being hurt.
Right, which is
not
people,
offense.
Well, but also let's give people
You can take
credit.
offense when your feelings are hurt, but credit for what?
Well, let's say you can handle being hurt. You're not going to break if you are.
Watch
if
me on your mom's house next week. You're going to see somebody hurting quite a bit.
Yeah.
And offended.
Okay, there's a huge policing in terms of what you can say and what you can think and how you should act. That's what's going on right now in society.
Isn't that what Mao did? And
yes,
isn't that what
100%.
Lenin did?
That's right. And now our peers, or not, our people are policing how you must respond, how you must speak, what words you can and cannot say. And it's completely antithetical to everything that this country stood
because this
for.
country is bad, and it is.
Yeah.
So, but what I don't understand
Making me crazy.
is comedy is supposed to be where we have these ideas challenged.
Yeah.
And hurting or making it uncomfortable. Let's not even say hurting feelings.
Right.
Making it uncomfortable is what's necessary to push that envelope.
Right.
Otherwise, you're not in the right zone.
Well, you want to find the line and just kind of dance on it.
And at times
play
you're going to be
with
a
the
little
line.
offended. And think about Lenny Bruce. You don't think he was offensive to people?
I know.
That was
his job.
That was his job.
He got arrested back then, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
wouldn't you rather that be the case now rather than being killed by a mob? At least you knew the parameters. You knew what you were dealing with.
I'll tell you what, though, it is scary when institutions, like, I don't know if the Comedy Store is going to survive. I don't know. But they are very pro-comic, and they've never, ever censored comedians. There are some clubs that do, and they never.
Really? In what sense?
There are clubs that will tell you, don't discuss politics, do not curse, don't be dirty, because our clients
Is
don't
that certain
like
parts
that.
of the country?
Certain parts of California.
Really?
I'll tell you later.
Los Angeles?
There are clubs. There's a club the owner won't let me do because he thinks I'm too whatever blue or.
Los Angeles? What the fuck?
But listen, that's not.
And then some of them are
at his
failing.
discretion.
Some of them are failing not just because comedy is getting attacked, because they're failing because Corona's killing them because they're bars.
Yes, that's what's killing it.
Yeah.
But comedy the whole
sad.
thing, it's been happening slowly over the last few years, and I think now more so than ever. There are certain topics you cannot discuss as a comedian now, which 5 or 6 years ago was not the case. I literally cannot get up and tell certain jokes now. I will be blogged out of existence.
These as Me Too or racial or all the above.
Forget it. I mean, look, I'm not really that interested in doing race material.
Yeah.
But I can't even. You can't even say
Anything.
the words, even if it's contextually okay. I think what it is people are now forgetting context. For instance, some comedian gets policed and schooled for a sketch they did 10 years ago, when back then it was perfectly okay to say X, Y, and Z, and now they're drudging up some shit you did a decade ago. It's like, well, guys, what about context? We're completely pulling things out of time and space. You guys, watch Breakfast at Tiffany's. Let's see how many fucking heads explode.
With that Asian character that Mickey Rooney plays. It's ridiculous.
So what are you going to do? We're going to go and sanitize everything that's ever happened before? It's
well, that's
not
the question.
possible.
Do you have to eliminate? Do you have to?
No.
That's to
Tear it
eliminate.
all down. I mean,
that's the Cultural Revolution. That's Mao, right?
yeah.
That's what that was.
Sanitize. But without the venues, the live venues are the last place. And podcasting. I think people are really gravitating towards this medium because we're saying the shit people are saying behind closed doors. We're having regular people conversations. People forget. Sometimes you just say dumb shit. You don't mean it. You just say dumb shit. I know. There's no forgiveness anymore. Can I just be wrong? I'm not a hate monger. I'm just wrong.
It's not even the forgiveness. It's glee in destroying.
Yes.
That's a pretty fucked up impulse. It's scary. Yeah.
I know. The mob is angry. People are angry right now. And there's a lot of reasons to be upset.
You think it's COVID more than we think? More than we know?
Everybody's life has been completely altered. They're pissed off.
I think it has a big part of what's going on.
Yeah.
Maybe more than we know. But and I'm not undermining or saying there's not a point to it, what people are saying. I'm saying the intensity of all this is...
The intensity of this. See, and it sucks that you even have to qualify that with
yeah, but we do.
Saying that... well, what's really troublesome... So we all know Crystalia is under some serious allegations right now. And I'm finding it interesting, too, that me and the other female comedians are being accused of knowing things and not... like...
You're all knowing,
You're all knowing, Jeans. And you hit it, or that we in Hollywood, everybody knows, and it's like, you don't know what your coworker's texting. Do you know what I'm texting? Even we sit across from here.
No, by the rest of the day, you're dealing with your kids.
Right.
You're living your life.
Right. But I think this pressure, too, of like, you need to say something and do, it's like, do I?
Well, it brings up the topic.
Am I fucking responsible for this guy?
No. I don't know. No.
I'm not his keeper. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm confused by a lot of stuff. It makes me feel bad that people are putting people in that position.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
But I just am worried about... Comedy has always been a place where it's been a safe space where people can be truthful.
Yeah.
And now it's...
I know. Talk to Yakov Smirnov. We had him on your mom's house.
I had him on my thing here.
Oh, he's fantastic. Yeah. And he talks about doing comedy in the Soviet Union.
Oh, yeah.
And he would have to submit his material to the whatever league of comedy, and they would filter it. And so he would have to find ways to be creative and get around the system.
Did he tell you a story on the cruise ship? Oh, where he got popular and they fired him because he was standing out relative to other performers, so therefore you must be canceled. If you are in any way I don't want to say the word even superior, if your work is causing you to stand out in the crowd, you must be crushed.
Yes, and can I tell you what's deeply disturbing about that too? There is a couple of actresses that resigned from their jobs as animation voices.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were not a racial match. And it's like, first of all, if you're blessed enough to have a job in show business, keep the fucking job. And secondly, that's not your problem, boo-boo. That's casting.
Right.
They should take the heat.
Yes.
Don't resign because of your, quote, privilege.
Well, but to
Stupidest
be fair,
fucking thing I ever heard in my life.
But maybe that came down from management or something, and then
they had to quit.
Then they gave the opportunity to take the bow.
So crazy. Or even the UC schools not allowing a certain amount of Asian people in because they do too well. It's like, wait, how is that not racist? How is that even legal? You're just shaking your head. Like, I have these thoughts, and I wonder. I'm in the upside down. I'm in the upside down too. We're here together, man. I don't know. How do we fucking and that's gonna level everything? Is this gonna to tell people to stop doing the best they can, or that's not American, dude? But stop doing the best you can is just generally. It's just a weird idea that you shouldn't do that. Again, it's back to Yakov Smirnov on the cruise ship. Right. Doing the best you can. But what regime was that under? Soviet Union. Uh-huh. Yeah. Sounds good, right? Yeah. You want to go back there? It worked out fine for them. Great system. I know. This is what I don't this is why I'm confused. Me too. I mean, there's plenty of historical examples of this. Plenty. Yeah. Doesn't matter. We have amnesia. People are like, build a wall. Guys, remember we did that in Berlin? Yeah. In the Soviet, the whole Iron Curtain. Nobody remembers that. It didn't fucking work. But whatever, we're going to solve the problems. And what's even more troubling is that I don't see any options to find our way out. You know what I mean? Right. I don't see good options politically on any side. Do you? I know. Oh no, it seems all crazy. Everybody's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
The left is crazy. The right is crazy. Everybody's
Right.
fucking crazy.
That's right. So it'd be one thing if it'd be a totally different feeling if we could just go, oh, that I could get behind that.
I know.
That's something I get behind. I don't see what I get behind. I don't get it.
Okay, well, here's my theory. Okay, so this is what I talked
By
to
that
my
I mean
elders.
that person. That person.
Okay,
That leader.
okay. Here's my theory.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, I wasn't alive, but I talked to someone who was. When Nixon was president, it was similar to how it is now.
It was similar, yeah.
Craziness.
Yes.
Civil
I was
rights.
alive. I
You
was
were
alive,
alive. Okay.
yeah.
Remember when Nixon did that bad stuff, Watergate,
Yes,
bad
I remember
things?
that. I remember all
Country
that.
was in chaos. Next president was kind of what? Milquetoast?
Yeah, yeah.
Carter?
Well, it was Ford.
Ford?
Who they should have reelected, and he just seemed too flat.
Yeah.
And then they put Carter in.
But then eventually Reagan
voted for
came
Carter.
and turned shit around, and Reagan became the new whatever.
Yeah. So you're saying
Messiah.
we're gonna find a way.
So you're going to have a bland guy
Mashiach.
next. Mashiach. Joe Biden is going to be.
Nadav got that
Oh,
one.
he got that one. Yeah. Hopefully Biden's going to come and just kind of level people out. He's going to be the sorbet where we're just fucking give us a
you
break.
know what? I get that, and I could potentially endorse that were I not so fearful about his health.
I know.
So, I know what those illnesses look like. I can. They're easy to diagnose across the room.
Okay, so we just make the vice president the person we really
Well,
want.
that's what scares
Who's that?
me, and that's right. And that's
you
going to be
run?
just somebody that I don't know what. So here
I'd
we are.
rather have you lead stuff.
Thank you. Well, but there's no possibility now because you screwed that up with your podcast with my wife. So thank you for that.
Drew, in Christina's defense, there were so many other things in earlier episodes that would have already canceled you. So I don't want to say that this new thing is the thing that's keeping you from running.
How dare you, first of all. Secondly,
Yeah, too late.
Secondly, I'm going to say this one will rock on a little differently than those. Talking about somebody shitting out their balls is not the same as my wife divulging all sorts of personal secrets.
Yeah.
Somehow it's a
it
little
was so
different.
awesome. It was a really good episode. Can I tell you though, for some reason, talking about a man shitting out his balls and Robert Paul champagne and vaping your cum feels
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But listen, hold on. I've got a
Yes,
point.
talking about
I've got
those
a
things,
theory.
talking about-
I've got a philosophy. But somehow this feels subversive in today's culture.
What does? Us doing this?
Yeah. Doesn't it feel like excitingly subversive to just speak how you would behind closed doors? Somehow
Yes.
that's a subversive thing now.
Yes, to be honest,
Scary.
and react honestly. Yeah.
And just have feelings and be like, okay.
We're humans watching humans do strange stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is revolutionary. All I'm saying is you're part of a very positive revolution. You should give yourself more credit.
Did you? Oh, here comes some shitting out balls. And so, speaking of revolution, but hold on.
Yeah.
Are you saying that when you began your mom's house, you had this as a conception of what you were doing? No. Okay.
It became, what happened was we were just talking the way we did.
What happened was?
What happened was, Yana, is that it was just Tom and I talking the way we normally do. And then stand-up changed so much. By 2008, things were starting to get a little hinky. You couldn't say everything. And then 5 years later, you can't say shit. So your mom's house is the last place, I feel like, where we can be
We can say shit.
Free.
Yeah. Free.
I mean, what are you going to, anyway.
We're still encumbered. We're still worried. We're still concerned.
Of course, you could...
The one topic that did come up recently was sex addiction again, by the way.
Let's talk about that. So
you want to do that or you want some shitting balls first?
Well, it's...
Which do you want to do?
Buddy, you tell me.
Let's do a little shitting balls.
Yeah.
Let's do a little, if you guys haven't seen this video yet, if you didn't see Tom's Twitter feed.
By the way, I know Tom gets credit. Again, I'm the mastermind.
But what does this have a name other than shitting balls?
Guy shits out balls.
Guy shits out balls.
And that's Nadav's naming system. He's really good at
Yeah,
it.
it's a nomenclature.
Now,
right?
I want you.
It's a taxonomy for
That's
videos.
right.
Now, Drew, I want you to know that the people at home will not be able to see this. If you guys want to see this uncensored, go to Tom's Twitter handle and check it out. But we can't legally
dare
show
you.
this on YouTube
And why?
because it's pornography.
As compared to some of the other shit you show here?
Well, no. Well, most of the time when we show you the crazy shit, most of the time we're just showing your reaction and stuff.
I see. Okay.
I wouldn't say pornography. I would say this is just an anatomy lesson because it's very interesting what
This
he's
is the
doing.
limits of anatomy lesson.
You get flagged for anatomy lessons. Too.
Limits of anatomy. Let us behold. Look at that. Yeah, slow motion too.
That's what I like.
I like the slow motion.
The
I have to
lilt
tell
and the
you, watching it on my phone does not give it nearly the.
You need a big screen.
Yeah, the big screen, the
Look at
slow
this.
motion
Look at
gives you
this.
the sense of awe associated with such grandeur, such grandesse.
Look at his. Look
And
how
it-
the balls go
yeah,
boom.
Isn't that amazing?
boom.
Isn't the human anatomy extraordinary?
Yes.
And I would argue not only is the human anatomy extraordinary, but the human brain extraordinary for thinking of doing this to your anatomy. Thank you for the backwards and forwarding it up. Thank you for that. That is extra super fucked up. But
There's so much going on here.
well, there's again, there's something extraordinary, like breathtaking about the whole thing in its essence. Just watching it, it's kind of a breathtaking. It's almost like watching like a comet streak across the sky or a great waterfall or something.
Yes.
It's that kind of
Splendor.
splendor. But the immediate next thought is, how the fuck did he get his balls in his
sublime.
ass like that? How the fuck did he get his balls
Right.
in there?
How the
did
fuck did he
that
get his
happen without
balls?
just
Hurting.
Yeah, so much pain.
Well, okay. Well, is it the chicken or the egg? Do you think that his nuts were naturally dangly that way?
Yes,
and
he has naturally dangly balls, and somebody said to him, "You could probably put." Oh no, trust me. Some bro said you could probably put your balls in your ass. I'll bet, and he said, "I'll bet you $1,000 I could." And then he did it, and then they were like, "Next thing." Men are always thinking about next, right? What can I do next with this? How can I build this out? So next, we got to put that on social media, and it's right.
Right. It's logical. Totally.
That's what happened. I promise
Yeah.
you, it's what happened.
Bro, you
So-
got some long balls, dude.
You got big. Those balls are crazy. I bet you could shove them in your ass. The guy spent a couple days going. Bet I could. I bet I could. Let me think about this. I'm gonna bet that asshole. It's $5,000. I can get my balls in my ass and shit him out.
You know what I love most is it's just the doing it for the doing it. The fun in and of itself, if you will.
Guys don't. We will,
Yeah.
but something like that, there's got to be a payoff or esteem.
What's the payoff?
Payoff is I've established myself relative to my male counterparts as something exceptional, or I made some money off those assholes, or both. I promise you, any males disagree with me, send your voice messages to 818-253-1693 or email drafterdark@gmail.com. Let me know if you agree with me about bro behavior. Not just bro behavior, male behavior.
Male
If
behavior.
you add bro on top of that, then it's happening immediately, like in one afternoon. Just male generally take about a week for that to get on the internet. From the point at which your friends see you in the gym standing with your foot on the bench with your balls halfway to the ground, and your bro's going, "I bet you could shit those out."
Well,
Yeah. So,
okay, Yana. So you're saying that he just had those danglers and he's like, I got to do something with these.
no.
Oh, his friends challenged him,
and he was like, "That's it. That's what we're gonna do with this."
Now his a-hole looks very loose. Do you think, from a medical perspective?
Show me again.
Yeah.
I don't think
I
saw
think
that really.
my. Just
I like the music.
Yeah, it is
ticking music, tic-tacky music.
Oof. But see, the
No.
anus looks a little.
No.
My
No.
anus doesn't get that big when I shit. I don't think.
Let's.
Do you want to look at it?
I was gonna say, you want to think like a bro? Let's get some video.
But look how it. So you don't think he has an abnormally loose?
I don't. It's had a ball stuffed in it. I mean, it's going to be a little bit reacting to that.
But don't you think it should be limber?
They don't give us enough. If in another 12 seconds it would shrink back up.
Shrink back up.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, maybe it's not such a hard hold over those nuts, and maybe that's how those nuts can go in there.
So either he's like a yogi or he's practicing. He's had a few visitors back there, is what you're saying.
I think so. I think it's been loosened up.
Could have some visitors, yeah.
And look how hairless and pristine that asshole and balls are. I mean, look
that's-
how
yeah,
pristine.
Yeah, hairy arms, though. Hairy arms. It's interesting.
But that is a butthole you could definitely eat off of.
Yeah, but that... I'm going to say, this is... Gay men are more evolved than most men.
Yes.
And so I'm not going to say this is unless it were a fetish that I don't know about, I'm going to say most gay men would not have this thought. It's a masculine, not masculine, it's a bro male thought to do this.
It's an interesting theory. I like this.
So I'm going to say, watch where I take this.
Go ahead.
All the lack of hair and sort of the buffness and stuff, all that, I'm going to say sex addict, not gay.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to say could be
Wow.
like overly sexually preoccupied.
Overly sexually preoccupied. That's not a bad theory.
Yeah. And it could be any port in the storm kind of sexually preoccupied too, right? Those really sex addicts will go with whatever,
whenever.
Whatever. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that because
So
that's kind of what's floating in the ethers now.
I may be
is
wrong.
Sex addiction.
I may be wrong. And again, I encourage emails at drdark@gmail.com.
Oh, you don't need to go that far. We'll let you know on your mom's house.
Oh, you have some ideas about him? Have you talked to him? Do I have to go visit him? Do I have to go
I don't know when this is released, and that's listen. And I don't want to say there's a lot of surprises.
Okay, so am I on the right track or am I off base?
How about some voicemails
right.
and
I could be wrong.
emails?
No, Christina and I are too into this. We haven't finished our conversation about sex addiction.
Let's talk about it because I didn't believe it existed before I watched your show about sex addiction. I thought it was bullshit.
So the guy's gay. God damn it. I got it wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the other thing could be.
And like really gay.
Well, I was going to say, but gay sex addict then. Because just, yeah.
He makes gay PORN. Why do
Yeah,
I spell
yeah.
it? I'm assuming my
Yeah.
kids are in the room. Yeah.
You're talking like the dog.
I spell out the words on, He gets butt sexed a lot.
Okay, well, so there you go.
Loose.
So it did not look. I was still going to defend his asshole as not as sort of in good, decent shape.
Yeah.
But the gay I can easily accept.
It's clean. He's way too clean to be straight.
Yeah. Well, but sex addicts will do stuff like that.
Let's talk about it.
They everything's about sex, and so they just want to make themselves, as it's like a swimmer, shaving themselves.
Yeah.
They're ready for the action, the competition all the time.
So it is just like it's the same as any compulsive behavior. Is that?
It is.
Because why do people deny that it? I'm trying to remember why I initially was like, that's bullshit.
Because the reason it's the easy thing to point at is to go, oh, they never identify as a sex addict until they get caught. Right?
Oh.
Then you go, of course, it's an excuse.
Yeah.
Everybody that says that, I would say, I will point you to every drug addict I've ever treated who doesn't come to treatment until they get arrested or their family send them because they are caught doing what they do. Right?
Yeah.
The extremes and the consequences they finally somebody in their life or in the world goes, that's enough.
Yeah.
Same thing with sex addiction. Same exact thing. So they hide it and screw it until it's destructive. And it has the same consequences: relationships, health, finance, school, legal status. 5 areas of addiction. Same thing with sex addiction. The difficult thing about sex addiction is that there is a kind of a spectrum that gets addiction-y, but it's not really addiction. And sort of you can look at alcohol similarly. Like there are people that drink a lot but kind of control it. Same thing with sex. People are like they're a lot of control, and you can see they've got too much momentum with it, and they're too preoccupied with it.
Yeah.
But doesn't really get out of control.
Well, that's So sorry. So that would be like someone in my dad's category of just like I just like getting laid a lot. Is that sex addiction?
It's not per se. It's sexual compulsion and it's sexual
Compulsion.
preoccupation, and it's maybe not a healthy balance. Just the way you might eat too much or drink too much, right? I mean, I just like my food, so I'm a little overweight. Big deal. You know what I mean? That people will do that with all kinds of things that are gratifying, that they really, really like.
Yeah.
Right? But it gets out of control. With addiction, usually there's trauma, usually there's sexual trauma behind it, and usually they can't stop and they want to stop. And the extraordinary thing for me that I found in treating people with sex addiction, every one of them said the same thing. They had all these people going, and some of them for years that they're sort of carrying on with, and they'll always say the same thing. I really want to have a relationship.
Yeah.
They'll always say the same thing. I
but
can't have a relationship. I'm like, well, what about that one and that one and that one? You've been seeing for 4 years. That's not a relationship. I don't feel close to them. We have great sex, but
yeah.
What is that? They have an intimacy disorder, which is part of the thing with real sex addiction. Oftentimes,
no,
they can't tolerate actual closeness.
Yeah,
So
they don't want the intimacy.
Right. So
I have to write
sex
things down 'cause
is
I'll
not
forget.
part of the intimacy.
What about acknowledgement? Hold on. Acknowledgement of the problem. How do you get someone to acknowledge their sex?
Denial is part of addiction, right?
Right.
And so you have to break through that denial somehow. A friend of mine, if you want to see a great website, it's called the centerforhealthysex.com. Woman named Alexandra Katahakis. He's putting it up right now.
Katahakis.
Yeah, she's a great therapist. And she, when I speak to her about this, she always talks about how she has to dismantle their defenses to get to the point where they actually see things. There it is, Center for Healthy Sex. Sex addiction help, partners of sex addict, couples sex therapy. Look at all that.
Goodness gracious.
Men's love addiction online workship. Interesting. Yeah, love
And
addicts.
what about their childhood patterns? You mentioned abuse. So sexual abuse?
Usually, yeah.
By
Physical abuse sometimes too, but it doesn't have to be by any particular. It's just, there were all kinds. I've rented all kinds of different. It's essentially at some point a kid's ability to regulate their biology gets sort of shattered. Like I remember one guy became voyeuristic when he was like 8 years old. This one woman used to, across the street, he had binoculars and he'd watch this woman masturbate or something, and he was 8, and then he couldn't. He blew his mind, and he just kept going back compulsively to watch it and didn't understand why, and then that became part of his sexual addiction rituals later.
God, the mind is fascinating.
It's weird how we get wired. This is the fundamental thing. We get wired to be attracted to the circumstances and people that were the source of our trauma in childhood.
That's wild.
It's wild. We never really talks about attractions and where they come from.
Right.
But really intense attractions usually come from real intense experiences, and it's usually trauma. And why people date the same kind of person. Here's a good email to this.
Yeah,
effect.
sure. Yeah.
Hey, mommies. First, I wanted to say that the podcast fucking changed my life.
Bitchin'.
Cheers. Because of you all, I figured I needed emotionally focused therapy and EMDR. A little over 6 months ago I started. I've never felt better.
Awesome.
Thank you. Now my dilemma is, how can I handle when I initiate sex and my partner isn't feeling it? Okay. We have really great sex, on average 2 to 3 times a week. Even with that, as soon as he super politely rejects me, so it's a she. Even with that, as soon as he super politely rejects me, I shut down. Okay, I get very frustrated and embarrassed. I just feel like it's unfair for me to react like this. It's perfectly reasonable response, but I can't help it. I've noticed other females also have this issues. Any thought, advice be appreciated. Whitney.
Whitney Cummings sent us that email?
Yeah, isn't that nice? She's a sex addict too. I didn't know that. No, so they already have sex 2 or 3 times a week, so they're above average. And mismatched sexual desire is a very common thing, right? And so you have to kind of navigate those things. And women are particularly poorly equipped to rejection for sex.
Yeah.
They don't expect that. And they immediately go to, I'm deficient in some way.
Yes.
He's not attracted to me. But men go to, she doesn't love me, and she's not helping me with this very powerful thing I've selected her to help me with, and she's like leaving me alone to deal with this that I want her to help me deal with. It feels unloved. Women immediately go to, I'm not attractive.
Yeah, it makes you feel, especially if you're in a shitty relationship and a guy rejects you.
This is not that, though. It's
but
a
they're
really good relationship.
But it can spiral you.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, 2 to 3 times a week sounds adequate.
It's more than adequate, but it's not adequate for her, right?
So
and so in a way, my instinct is, I think she's scratching this itch a little bit. I think she's driving it. You're reenacting your trauma, Whitney. In other words, the rejection is your trauma. You're probably working on EFT and stuff and emotionally focused therapy, and you're sort of provoking that by just going a little bit above what you need. I think in the future, before you come at him for sex, what you do is say, hey, it's a possibility I may want to do this 4 times a week. Could you please try to initiate a little more? I'm not feeling quite as, I'm fearful and I'm feeling abandoned when you reject me. I can't handle it. Just talk to your therapist and talk to your partner about it.
Yeah. But I got to tell you,
not a bad situation.
It is rare when a guy
rejects.
Yeah. I always feel like something's wrong with those dudes because I've been in relationships.
Well, women do that too. And what would be wrong with them? What's your first thought?
Low testosterone.
No, usually they think, oh, he's gay.
Yeah, clearly. Like, let me
he's
tell
not
you
into
something.
me. He must be gay.
100%. I mean, the guys I've dated that like weren't down. DTF,
I had a.
Wrong with this guy?
I'm going to do a little. I'm just remembering. I'm just flashing back to my own history. I had a relationship with somebody who I just sort of biding time with.
Quotes. Oh, okay.
Well, because it wasn't really a relationship. I was just sort of enjoying, hanging out. I had nobody else to hang out with. And I would not have sex with that person because I could tell that she was really into it. And I thought, oh, if we do this, I'm never getting out.
Yeah.
And then immediately she goes, she told my friends, didn't know your friend was gay. I didn't know. I'm like, nope.
You were just smart.
I'm not that into it. I'm just not that into it.
You're just not that into it.
And I could tell, I could just instinctively know that this would
well,
not.
because you ever bang somebody who they kind of work you down? You know, like I've had.
No, men do that. Women don't
Yeah,
do that
yeah.
so much.
That
was what was happening in that relationship a little bit, by the way.
She was working you down?
Yeah, and I was like, no, I got to get out of here because this is not going to end well.
Well, because the thing is, they'll work you down.
I don't like hurting people by that. And people get hurt by that a lot.
Well, you're going to hurt them eventually.
Right?
Or anyways, you may as well just do it at the top.
Well, but if you do it after having sex, though, it's that much more
it's
intense
even worse.
For them. Yes.
Well, the guy that worked me down, and then you're like, I guess I should just fuck him again now that I'm already here. And then you get into this weird thing where you're like, I don't really enjoy it, but I guess I'll just fuck him again.
Which is for a male, that happens a lot for women. I hear that stuff all the time. And for men, that's incomprehensible.
Right.
Why would you have sex if you don't want to? We really, 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 really want to. That's why we really wear you down. That's why we can't help ourselves.
Excuse me.
And by the way, wearing down is not that. Now that's no, it's not right. It's not good. That's not consent, right?
I know, because I was so young when it happened.
It's manipulation. It's
manipulation.
It's aggression. And again, back to the 70s where that was fully endorsed to help women deal with their uptightness. Seriously, that's how fucked up it was. And that bled into the 80s too.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good.
No, this guy was weird.
90s?
90s, yeah. And he's a little obsessive, yeah.
He's just that into you. He couldn't help it.
Yeah, well, pretty awesome.
I've been dying to see this one. It's entitled Vaping Cum.
Yeah.
May I see it?
Sure.
Okay.
You may want a bucket nearby.
Oh my God.
Well, remember you weren't into the jizz stuff last time.
I was not into RPC's cum.
Are you ready for this?
Oh, Jesus.
Took 3 loads, approximately 3 wanks, and I got my vape full of my cum. And every time I try this, it tastes different. So today when I vape my cum, I'm going to tell you what it tastes like.
What the fuck is going on? What is going on?
Tastes pretty good today. It's the usual. It's a little bitter, kind of bleachy, but there's notes of mango and pineapple in there.
No, there's not. No, there's not.
You know, with a little bit of saltiness to it, so you get like it tastes like you just ate like a roast beef with pineapple on it, which is a pretty interesting taste for vape juice. But you can only get that flavor when you vape your own cum.
Do you agree with that?
Do I agree with it?
Have you even vaped your own cum yet?
I don't even know how to answer that.
I know. Did you ever think you would see? Have you seen this before in your life?
No.
No.
But thank you.
Today you saw a guy shit out his balls and vape his own cum.
Yeah.
And I figured you'd seen it all with celebrity rehab and sex addiction stuff.
I figured I'd seen everything too. And my mind is spinning trying to figure out what the fuck is going on here. Let's set this up, can we? Do you notice the Felix the Cat clock in the right upper corner?
I do.
It's a cat with the eyes that go one direction and the tail that goes the other, which is a throwback to the 60s code.
Yes.
You got to give a little nod for that. Whose picture is that next to his cum?
Well, he's got Kramer from Seinfeld up there, which he was canceled a long time ago for a legitimate reason.
Who are those two? What is that guy?
Is that Danny DeVito?
Maybe. But let me see the other 2 posters there below that. We got to figure this dude out. Who's that guy?
This one?
Yeah. It's like a sportscaster or something.
Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
Oh, I think you're right. I think that's who that is.
And then some nerd fantasy thing.
Well, then we got the hallucinogenic stuff. So, okay, so he's hallucinogen user. He's got the most bizarre sunglasses of all time.
Yeah. I kind of don't. Do we want to know?
Yeah.
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 There's a vent without a grate on it.
Oh,
up
yeah.
there.
That's a nice touch.
Like
that shows somebody attending to their well-being and surroundings.
Yeah.
And yet he has the motivational impulse to load up 3, not 1, but 3.
Ew,
and by
I
the way,
got the chills.
It doesn't keep, so that means 3 in short order. and then thinking, I better smoke this stuff.
Well, how healthy?
I have to tell you,
Yeah.
it doesn't disturb me as much as eating it.
Yeah. You think vaping it's better than eating it?
Yeah, well, but just
Sure.
I don't want to vomit as much.
Mm-hmm. But he's like do
you know there's a whole
savoring.
cooking with cum?
Yes, yes,
Yeah, okay,
yes.
of course.
People
Of
sent me the
course you know.
book.
Of course
Come
you
on,
know.
what
of
are you,
course.
new to
I'm
this show?
sorry,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did I offend you? So,
Yeah, a little bit.
So what's weird to me, what normally goes in there, by the way?
Vape stuff?
Vape stuff.
Tobacco? What's in there?
think
Millennials?
Juice. They call it vape juice.
Vape juice.
What is
Can you
vape?
put anything in there and it vapes?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I didn't think that you could vape cum, but this guy's, breaking barriers.
Right, so we got to hand it to him for ingenuity. A little
Yeah.
ingenuity there. A little.
I guess.
But what is wrong with our world? He needs to be working a plow or something. He needs to be
Yeah.
out in the field planting.
I know what you're
He
saying.
needs to
I
work
know.
with his hands more.
I know what you're Let me tell you about a toddler. Yeah, like it's a 4-year-old that has all this energy.
Yeah.
And they start peeing off the balcony and
Yes,
stuff. And you're like,
yes.
you need to go into sports.
Right.
Or something
We
constructive.
need to focus this. We
Focus.
somehow have lost our ability to sublimate.
I agree.
And then do something productive with all that energy.
Now, what do you think? Why do you think he fails in that regard? Is it an IQ thing?
No, he seems quite bright. I think it's something to do with. Have you talked to this guy too?
No. No.
Are you
No. No.
chasing down everybody in all the videos you get now?
No.
Okay. He got a little ingenuity, got too much time on his hands, a little too
Yeah.
much hallucinogen, makes you think crazy stuff. Right?
Also, probably not much access to the opposite sex.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
or opportunity or training or something that could maybe help him sublimate that energy, right? I mean,
Yeah, I
wouldn't he
think-
feel better about himself if he were doing computer programming than vaping
Yeah.
cum?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be? Would you rather solve an algorithm than vape cum?
Yeah. I mean, Drew, the problem is you and I grew up without computers, without the internet. So it's easier to kind of settle into a low frequency, low output existence when your output is like, I'm vaping cum, and then people like your video and talk about your video on a podcast.
Yeah.
And then you feel like you've achieved.
Oh.
Do you know?
So we're part of the problem.
We're part of the problem.
Yes, I see that.
I take responsibility.
We need to redefine achievement while we're at it too.
That too,
Yeah.
definitely.
Maybe that's they've gotten
Yes.
so used to getting ribbons and awards.
Yes.
That everything
Yes.
now is a ribbon and award.
Oh my God. I see these idiots with these signs on their front lawn like, my son graduated from junior high.
I
And you're
know.
like, really? That's an achievement?
I know.
Oh, junior high is an
yeah, there's
achievement
a
now?
little. So
okay.
we celebrate our kids a little too much, maybe.
Okay. Could you imagine your parents putting that shit on your lawn? Like Drew celebrated as
my
graduated
God.
from elementary school.
Oh my God. Oh my
Okay.
God. Well, there was even something weirder going on
Pathetic.
back then. Back then, you would. Maybe tell me if this was part of what you got. You would brag about your kids, but never let your kids see you proud of them.
Oh, never. I
Never.
never got encouragement.
Never.
Ever. Ever.
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
But they might brag about you a little bit
Yeah,
to
I'd hear
somebody
it.
to give themselves a little status.
Yeah,
And
yes.
and then you'd hear about it like, oh, your dad's sure proud of you. You're like, my dad? Who are you talking about? Right?
Yeah, no, he's not. He doesn't even know what I'm majoring in.
Just gives
Yeah.
me shit all the time. Ask me why I don't get better grades.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah, that is an old school way. You never they never
I know, but-
approved. That's
and
so true.
And I don't know you, but I always felt
God.
resentful that they would. It's fine not to approve of me. I got low self-esteem. I like that. It's not a bad thing, and it drove me to greater things, and
Yeah.
that's okay. It was painful at the time, but it was a good thing. But then to co-opt it for your own ego, that I didn't like.
That made me crazy.
You're okay. It's okay to you to give me shit.
Yeah.
But then don't take a victory lap
Oh,
because
yeah.
it makes you feel better.
Or they were selective about. My mother would brag about me doing a study abroad year at Oxford.
I knew that would be their thing. Yeah.
But not me being on, Chelsea Lately.
Yeah, because that's not her thing.
Yeah.
That's what gives her status. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But again, made us achievers, high achievers. We didn't
Yeah.
get rewarded for cum vaping, And
God, if
putting
we
that-
had though,
If we had.
what would we be doing now? Oh,
That's what I'm saying.
Our minds.
What's the Carmines?
No, our minds.
Oh, our minds.
Our
Yeah.
brains. What might it have? What evil?
Well, I'm very neurotic. I don't think I could have handled being on the internet as an adolescent.
Oh no.
Could you imagine the criticism, the comments,
Yeah,
the people?
Oh my God.
But that's why YouTubers are crazy. The YouTube world is just vicious. They're always having beefs and wars.
Maybe that's
and,
why
ugh,
they act
horrible.
out so much on other people. They've been acted out on too much growing up or something.
Oh, I believe they call that bullying now.
Yeah, but they seem to be quite proficient at it.
I know,
And-
but
and
then
quite-
that's right.
Yeah.
Same with the social justice warrior stuff. We hate, authoritarian shit. Meanwhile, that's exactly what they're giving out.
Yes.
Don't say that. Don't do that. I'm
Yes.
going to cancel you. They live for it.
It's like a religion, like the Great Awakening. You sinner, repent, and you're like, okay, what do I need to do? Okay, done. Not enough. Repent more. Never ending. Never ending.
Flogging. God damn it. You and I have figured out everything.
We have figured out what's happening. We haven't figured out what to do about it.
Push back.
Do more after
There needs
dark
to be a
shows.
revolution countering the nonsense. A rational revolution.
A rational revolution.
A
I like
sane
that.
revolution.
I like that. No, I like the idea.
Reason
I like the
and logic.
ring of rational revolution.
You like that? I like it too.
Because I always call it the pragmatic project. I like pragmatism.
Okay.
Yeah, but I like rational revolution.
Pragmatic's too big a word.
It also sounds a little. Doesn't sound as
Pragmatism?
exciting. Yeah, it doesn't sound very exciting.
No, mine is like let's throw a fucking brick in it. Like let's go.
Rational revolution. Who's going to be on it? Who's
You?
gonna be in it?
Okay, it's gonna be these guys in the box.
Have they signed on yet?
Have you guys signed on to my revolution of reason and logic?
Rational revolution?
Sure, why not?
Oh, gee, I don't believe that.
That doesn't.
No,
sound
no, no.
right.
We're on
Repent!
board. We love it.
Okay. And then,
Anyways.
do we have to march in the streets?
No, we don't do that.
Okay, we
we
don't
just
do that.
harness the power of the internet. That's what these SJWs do. They pressure by using social media because they're so fucking good at it.
Okay.
We have to bully them back.
Okay. So here we go.
So people our age have to learn
So-
to use social media.
So
like they
comedians
do.
need to lead this thing.
Okay,
I see comedians
okay.
at the leading edge, the vanguard.
I have kids. I can't do that.
What? Yeah, you can.
I have two small children.
Oh, I
Okay,
see.
who's going to
You're
do
bowing
it? Who's going to
out.
lead it? I'm not.
I don't
Joe
know. See,
Rogan.
Good idea.
He can do it.
He's got a following.
He's got a
Rogan and
following.
Corolla. We can get them in on this.
There you go. That's who needs to lead the revolution. I think there kind of already are.
I don't think so. I think they're as astonished as everybody trying to figure out what's going on.
Everybody's still, their ears are ringing from
Yeah,
nonsense.
yeah.
It's nonsense. Nonsense.
Well,
Nonsense.
send all your emails to drjeffdark@gmail.com, and when this little piece goes viral, whoops, I just pulled my.
Oh, fuck. Should we want to check voicemails? And the
Okay,
Dom's
voicemail.
telling
Let's
us.
do a little voicemail. Here we go.
Hey, Dr. Drew. Hi, Christina.
Hi, James.
My name is Dylan, and I had a weird question. I don't know if this is quite a question that Dr. Drew could answer necessarily. I think it's more of a
It is.
person-to-person thing. But since I was young, I've been attracted to, it's called futanari. It's a Japanese genre of porn, and it's usually it is a female who tends to have a penis. And my entire life, I've found that pretty attractive.
Look it up, please.
But
show us.
I find it
Fukanari.
strange that as I've gotten older, I'm about 20, I'm almost 25 now, and I'm not gay, and I'm still not attracted to real trans pornography. And I'm just wondering what the explanation is if I'm not attracted to those things in real life, but for some reason on the internet,
Okay.
if they're drawn or if it's fake.
Yeah. Okay.
I find it
So-
more attractive. I'm
so
wondering what
There's
psychology is behind that. I don't know if you can answer that. Maybe
Right.
I'm just embarrassing myself.
No.
Anyway,
Obviously,
keep
other
it
people like it
tight.
too.
Sue Woo. Love you all. Bye.
Sue.
Thank you, buddy. Obviously, other people like it too. That's why it's out there. It's popular. There's something extreme about it, right? And so your brain respond. Men particularly don't necessarily like in the real world what they like looking at. What they do with their eyes is they use it as a way of just arousing themselves. And the more intense the arousal, the more they like it, right? And so sort of extreme features are things that are startling and arousing. And you can get a little bit of wiring stuff in there around sexuality and gender and stuff. And this is sort of messing with all that, making it even more arousing, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of into it. I don't mind this.
Right. See, Christina likes it.
I like it. I'm into it. It's like, because it's everything. It's like she's a hot girl, but she's got a peener and balls. It's not a guy that's transitioned. It's like a real woman with a dick.
Right.
And you're like, this is perfect. I could hang out with his best friend. And then we both, you know what I mean?
Yes, and you can have sex too with her.
Great, yeah.
Yeah, it's a perfect woman. So, but men aren't thinking about that so much. They're talking about chatting at the cafe and then having sex. They're just thinking about the sex part, typically. And there's a feature that some men get where they like sort of being overwhelmed by a powerful female. This has some of that stuff going on too. That's sort of submissive stuff kind of thing. So it's all in there. It's all good. Don't be embarrassed.
No,
what would be weird is if you were not weird, even though you probably find it in the real world, but it'd be more problematic for you if you had to have that as your partner.
Yeah.
Then that would be hard to find.
I think he's having
a limited market for that.
So he's having trouble reconciling that thing, though, that like in the fantasy realm, I like this. I can't find this in reality.
Yeah, I would even argue for men, oftentimes it's not even a fantasy; it's just a visual thing that they find arousing. They're not looking for it in the real world at all.
You can't
Which
find
is
that.
why, by the way, when women find out what their male partners look at in porn, they get upset. Like, I'm not none of those things. It's like, yeah. That's in the real world, I like this.
Right.
When my eyes are doing the work, I need these kinds of these features, right?
I've had fantasies of things that I would never, ever want to have in real life.
But usually, though, that is a behavior or something, or an interaction or something. With men, it's features. Because we're very, 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 very visual.
Like
with
a
all
big
that.
old dong on a pair of tits.
Yeah, or the size of the breast, or the size of the ass, or the size of the this or that. And they may have nothing to do with their preference in real life.
No, and by the way, the shame people have. Do you ever listen to Dan Savage? He always talks about the reptilian brain that wants what it wants. So you have no control over what the wiring, the reptilian brain.
You actually do.
Really?
But it's extremely hard to unwire and rewire. One of the things about really good therapy is it changes you so much. You're actually looking at the world and yourself from a different place. It's like you grow into this other thing where you're like, oh, suddenly I feel differently about these kinds of people or these kinds of preferences, and that's just part of what comes on with real growth. There's like a realignment of the different integrated systems in the brain. But his point about the reptilian or the motivational systems, which are in the deepest part of the brain, I totally agree with. It's what I talk about all the time in addiction. That's that same part of the brain that's going all the time. And that part of the brain has priority over all the other structures in your brain. So
terrible.
Right. So it literally can make you think distorted things to get it gratified. So we see in addiction all the time.
How does that benefit us as a species, though? Like, how is that a good thing?
It's an epiphenomenon, right? It's when it goes wrong, it's bad. But if the motivations are all driven towards survival things that are actually good for survival, you want that in there driving everything, right?
Yes.
But when it goes a little bit off because of childhood trauma or whatever, that's where it gets to be distorted and problematic. I mean, I have to coach up addicts all day long about this stuff, right?
Right.
Where I'm saying, that's your disease, that's not real, I know you're thinking that stuff, that's your disease making you think that, and I know you want this, but that's your disease, they can't, because they're in it, they can't see it.
Of course, when you're in anything, right?
Right.
Oh my God.
Right.
Oh, the mind.
24-year-old female trying to quit smoking. It's a vaping question, so I thought I'd do a little vaping, real
vape
vaping.
your
Now, a
own
few
cum.
questions about vaping. If I use cum as opposed to nicotine, no, it's not.
Oh,
That's not what's in here.
this chick's doing it now? Oh my God.
Will vaping on the birth control pill have the same blood clot risk factor as smoking on the pill?
Sure.
I've had pneumonia a few times. Is there any risk vaping since it's water vapor inhaled in your lungs? Yeah. Vaping is not great for your lungs, right? We now know that. And there's a lot of good, the government did some great studies on this. There's an extensive encyclical out there that talks about all the different airway damages and things. It's not as bad as cigarettes, not as bad as tobacco. And I don't think vaping has the same issue with the birth control pill that cigarettes do.
Oh, that's
I
nice.
don't know that for sure, but I know that nicotine is generally safe, and all vaping is nicotine. Now, it's an inhaled hydrocarbon that gets into your lungs. That's where the lung problem comes from. But the actual systemic effects, the tobacco causes the systemic effects. The vaping doesn't really do that. Also write today and write the emails at drfdark@gmail.com and let me know if you were bored today or not, because I'm getting off on all these different topics.
Oh
and I
my
want to make sure. I want to make sure this. The rational revolution actually wants all this stuff, and it's not just us sort of gratifying ourselves here.
I don't know. I mean, look, there's a reason we're saying all this. It's in the ethers. Maybe we're you know what I mean? It's a common experience.
Well, I do know that I like with the common experience of feeling like we need a rational revolution.
Collective unconscious.
Well,
it's
yes,
in the ethers.
I'm gratifying today a little more rational material than I normally would, right?
Yeah,
I'm talking more about things I would do clinically and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Normally, we're just talking about vaping cum, and so I just want to make sure that we have the bandwidth to talk about some of these other things too. And part of the problem, though, is I know you're saving some of the shit for your mom's house that you would like to bring here. And I know I'm going to be teamed up on at your mom's house.
Yes. What you're not into Fukimaki and all that stuff.
Fukinari?
What's that shit called? Yeah.
Is that right? Fukinari? Did I get it right?
Futanari.
I'm not into it?
You're not into all
you're
that.
saying I'm not a weirdo.
What are you being afraid of?
I mean, not you're weird, not you're weird.
Yeah, you're fantastic. Look, listen, I showed up here after the interview with Susan, and I like you even more now.
I get it, but you're kind of,
whacked.
So you like vampires and shit. So,
I do.
Yeah. But no, it's your husband I'm nervous about.
Okay.
It's like when I go. It's like when I go into Stern, I worry about Robin. I don't worry about Howard.
Really? More about Robin?
Oh my, yes.
She's so smart. She's
Yes, she
overcome
is.
so much.
Yes, she has.
Goodness.
And that's part of the problem. I get really hurt because I have so much respect for her. I like her so much.
Yeah.
So,
You feel
same thing
she
with
goes
Tom.
after you? You feel she...
What? You don't know the whole history?
Well, I know about the lunch. There was some lunch date.
Oh no, the whole reason the lunch date happened is because you don't know the history.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell the whole story now because we're running out of time. Maybe we should tell it next week.
Okay, next week.
All right, we'll do it next week. We'll tell you the story about me and Robin, which those of you who don't listen to Stern, I apologize. But if you do listen to Stern, you may already know this. It's a long, nefarious history here.
Wow.
Yeah,
but it's still hot
this?
goss. It's still the hot
It's
gossip.
gossip, and we should bring it up and talk about it. It's
okay.
Good.
All right, we'll talk about it.
By the way, I talked to Ralph for 45 minutes driving down here today.
I'm
having more great talks with Ralph than almost anybody I know right now.
What?
Ralph Cirillo from the Stern
Yeah,
Show. Ralph is a really smart, interesting guy, and I've always been kind of friendly with him. But it's like just so we're kind of people are looking for ports to hang out with where you go, am I crazy? Am I crazy? Are you feeling the same way?
Yes.
And he and I have found a
about
common
all
ground.
this stuff we're talking about.
But everything you and I have just been talking about. And
I think people are asking if they're crazy or not.
Yes, I keep wondering,
and
I keep wondering where are we going? What's going on? I can't get my feet under me. I don't know what's going on.
I talked to my agent the other day, and he goes, I'm going to start a drinking game where every time you say back in the 90s, because apparently on your mom's house, I keep saying that. And I go, well, yeah, but it's because I'm trying to wrap my head around what the fuck is happening now.
Yes.
Is it that I'm 44 and the world, like, is this what it is to be middle-aged?
Well, that's what I keep asking myself too. Is the kids, what's wrong with kids today? Is this all that is? Or is it really in something different here? And it feels, and I've been your age and I didn't have this feeling when I was your age at all.
Yeah.
At all. And now it's quite different. But I mean, there's a book called The Fourth Turning, I think it's called. Nadav, check me on that, Fourth Turning, which is about how each generation creates these common changes that keep recurring on a loop of four. Fourth Turning. There it is. That's an American prophecy, what the cycles of history tell us about America's next rendezvous with destiny.
Interesting.
I got to pull that out again.
Well, look, I hope people appreciate our honesty, if anything.
Well, that's the main goal of this show, right?
Yeah.
Respond and be honest. That's it.
Yeah.
And allow people to bring their stuff and be honest with us too. That's the whole goal.
There you go. Praise Allah.
So anyway, Ralph and I had a great talk coming down.
Yeah,
here. I'm just having so much fun with him.
Tell me off mic.
Yeah. And he calls me too because we're both. It's nothing earth-shattering.
Is he gay? Is he gay?
The reason he and I got re-going again, I really felt bad for. I thought he does great radio.
Yes.
Stern Show is all about busting everyone's balls.
Yes.
I thought the level of ball busting he got was ridiculous, and the kind of outing stuff that was going on bothered me. So I called him to make sure he was okay.
Oh, okay.
And that's what started our whole shared love again. But, so.
I like Ralphie too. He's so smart. He is
He's
smart
a
guy.
very smart dude.
He always has good
and
insights.
he's not afraid to be honest.
He always laughs. He always laughs it off, the gay stuff. And
he's so funny.
Yeah.
So good. All right.
We'll talk about
my history with Robin. We'll give more emails, more. We got lots. We barely got to any videos today. I apologize. We were gratifying our rational revolution, irrational recovery, rational revolution, whatever we're going to call it.
We're gonna snap. We're gonna clap back, as they say.
Yeah, I've got fisting. I've got breastfeeding older kids. I've got I am dung. I can't wait to see what that is. This is all stuff that Christina's been saving for me. And
really good stuff.
Okay, so we're back for that next week. In the meantime, we'll see you then.
All conversations and information exchanged during participation in the Dr. Drew After Dark podcast or interaction on the drdrew.com website is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Do not confuse this with treatment or physician medical advice or direction per se. You must always follow your medical professional's advice and direction. Nothing on these podcasts or posted on this site supplements or supersedes the relationship and direction of your medical caretakers. Please understand, I am not playing the role of physician in this environment per se. I'm educating. I am a licensed physician with specialty boards in American Board of Internal Medicine and American Board of Addiction Medicine.